Welcome to today's show. My name is Brenda Bates, Medicine Woman, and tonight's show is Medicine Woman Reveal. And I always call this one Becoming a Spiritual Human. It is learning to heal your health so that you can get back to your true identity and being in that state of joy. Tonight what I have with me is my husband,
Scott Bates.
And Jen is off doing her meeting. So on Wednesday nights she helps out with being the minister to helping people be accepted for who they are, what they are. It's Q Cross. I can't remember what the initials stand for, but anyway, she's off doing a wonderful thing, helping people in humanity become more integrated with peace and joy and love. So, as always, we have readings. We do lots of readings. I can do a general reading, which is the energy that's around you that your soul wants you to address. Your soul wants you to address an issue, and the only way that it can communicate through to you is in many ways, but you haven't heard the language. You're not sure what it means. So there's a part of you that needs a soul coach, an interpreter to help you understand your soul's language. Or if you have a specific question and you want to know why life is showing up the way it is. Because there are many things that your soul wants to tell you to help you on this journey. So I do have a caller right off the bat, and we're just going to jump right in. So, area code 253, as soon as we get the computer running. There you are. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Well, did you want a reading?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a visitor and I was helping her.
Oh, that's all right. Do you have a specific question or just want a general reading?
Probably a general, because the question I think I know the answer already.
Okay. You may be surprised. Okay, so let's just see where you're going.
Should I ask the question?
Yes, and the reason why is because that is on your forefront of your mind, and it helps warp your reality. And if it's not being answered and you're questioning too much, you're going to put yourself in a stress mode, which is going to cause you less than joy. So, what is your question, dear?
Okay. I just have to I feel like I have to finally get over it, and I've asked this question a few times. I don't know if I've asked you guys, but my stepkids, I just got divorced and the kids are his. Are my stepkids ever going to come live with me, or is it just over and I need to get over it?
Alright, so let me just tap into what your soul thinks about this. It's fully aware of the question. How long has it been since they have contacted you or talked to you?
A little over 2 months I've been gone.
Okay. So now I'm just going to pull some cards and see what happens. Well, first of all, remember, you got to heal the pain that sits in your heart that would cause you to have this situation come into place. So another reason you're projecting that they're not calling or talking is because you're muddled about, did I do the right thing, did I do the wrong thing, well, it's not about blaming. You did what the healthy thing was for you at the time. Now, you got to remember to heal the blame on yourself. So looking further onto your story of why you would project the kids of not being there, is that you are used to having, let me ask you a question. So do you give love and notice that you don't get it back?
Yeah.
That's their,
often.
okay, and they're part of that issue too. Because you've had that particular issue, they're going to continue the story. And then if they don't continue the story, somebody else will do that. You first understood that about 1 year old, that you give love and love is not given back to you. Okay, so I would definitely tell you that the pain, the anguish, the familiarity, the knowing, and the words you have with it, that's about profoundly deep, unrequited love. You just don't get it back. And that yearning, the longing for it, is what actually is causing you to repeat a particular pattern. That is what I want you to focus on. That is what you would heal, because this is a very thick barrier that's been in your way for, like I said, since 1 year old. And so the best way to heal that would be, okay, so there's a judgment call that you did as a kid. You made the decision. So The right thing to do was to stand there and take it, stay in the love relationship, to stay there, take the abuse, because eventually they're going to show you love. Does that make sense?
Well,
because you got to.
I couldn't get out, financially. I didn't want to stand there and take it. I wanted out.
Correct, but as a kid, you couldn't get out either because you're a child. You need to be taken care of. Okay.
Yeah, there was no physical abuse, just
nope. Yeah.
Emotional.
Exactly.
Not there.
Exactly.
Not there.
And that is very important to understand. It doesn't have to be anything other than simply they didn't know how to give love. And you were looking at how you weren't receiving the attention. The bonding didn't take place. So it doesn't have to be anything very dramatic. But if you look at it, it is how you know it. And this sits there. Okay, so again, you made a specific choice that the right thing to do. So at some point when you were growing up, you must have believed, at 1 years old, believed that leaving was not the option. Or so at 1 years old, did you have somebody like your dad leave, or did you have somebody die? Was there?
Yeah, the dad. I never met him because I don't remember him at one.
Okay.
So yeah, he's gone, and I've never ever seen him.
Okay, and that plays a big part because you, as that kid, at the age of when it was happening, you made a decision. Okay, not the adult you, but the young you. And you probably felt it was the right thing to do was to stay. Now I've got to check and say, is this your belief? Yes. Is this based on anybody else? Yes. So it was a group conscious effort where maybe the mother even thought it was wrong that he left. And it could have been the people in the family talking about how he shouldn't have left. And so...
Well, she left him, but yeah.
Okay, so it boils down to... See, that's another reason. You said that you couldn't leave your husband at the time because of financial reasons. But it's still that you shouldn't do this. Okay? It still falls under unrequited love. It still is that it's a right and wrong issue. And so those two combinations, remember, you created this as a kid. You looked at it, you watched everything that was happening, and you came up with these assumptions in a 1-year-old mind. But this is how it's affecting you as an adult, and how you know it is what you got to heal. And they're saying that the after effects. So let me just look at this. I got to figure out what they're talking about. You're more timid now, and so there's a part of you that feels that you need to withhold. I got to find out what you're withholding. There's a part of you that's shy of wanting to get back into relationships or get back into loving too deep or bonding it in the first place. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and they said that seems to be your top issue because that came up at 3 years old, that it hurts too much to love. And I'm going to ask if that's a decision. Yes, so that decision, even though it hurts too much to love, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I would definitely say do meridian tapping on that. Because literally it takes your will, your choice to want to do something is like, no, I don't want to. So then there's going to be great conflict within yourself. To heal it's the right thing to do, that I should stick it out, I should do this, I should do that. It's interesting because you're not saying they should, you're saying that you should. To correct a right or correct a wrong, you need to make it right. You're the one that needs to make it right, according to what your soul's saying. Which means that you got to go and correct it, but at the same time, the other part of you, as you became an adult, was, oh, why am I even in this? Because yes, I'm correct, I'm staying, I'm being, but yet I'm getting no love in return.
Yeah.
So all that story needs to be addressed. And they're saying that you would hold L3S if you go. Do you know all about the healing tools?
No, what is that?
Okay. I don't just give readings, I'm a healer first. So if you go to the website, it's MW, M as in medicine, W as in women, MW Reveal, REVEAL.com. You will go there, and on the left-hand side it says healing tools. And then you'll notice there's a ton of healing tools. The one I want you to look at and to read through and watch the video is Hope Therapy. Okay? And the code that I'm going to tell you to hold is L as in left, 3 is in number 3, and S is in soft. So L3S, and then you'll be holding your left wrist in the 3rd position, and your thumb will be there but laying there soft. Your finger goes in the palm of your hand, and your hand goes onto your forehead and your hairline. This will make sense to you when you watch the video. I would tell you, because we covered a lot of information, go and listen to the archives later, or you can watch the YouTube video so that you can see what it is that I've showing you to do. Now, hopefully that I will have the video up at least by Thursday or Friday. One of those days I usually get them up. The other one I want you to learn is meridian tapping. And you heard me say, even though, and then you'll end up having a phrase, but you'll insert your own belief system or decision in there. And remember, everything you do, you put it on a scale from 0 to 10. Okay? You give it a test. And you say, oh my God, yeah, that's my story. Oh my God, yes. And a 10 means that this is how much energy and life force that you have invested in it, which probably will keep repeating itself, which later down the road can cause you a heap of trouble, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Now, I drew 2 cards that I need to address a little bit further. Alright, so let me see. I'm using the deck, The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. And Ghostlands came up, but it came up in reversed. When the Ghostlands card appears reversed, it's a sign that you're wandering in an emotional and intellectual place with no real substance. There's no point longing for that which has already gone or hasn't happened yet. Perhaps you've created a fantasy of the good old days or some exclusive utopian destination that lies somewhere in the future when this or that happens to make things better. Live one day at a time. Each day is a new beginning, filled with truth and beauty. Stay away from the ghostlands of the past and the future. Avoid nostalgia and longing for something better. Find joy in what is present in your life today. And I'd say definitely heal, so that that longing and that yearning, the intensity will come down to 0 and the color will go to white. You want that. The other one that I picked up was called Dry Eye Desert. And again, this is when I question, to your question, and that's when I drew these cards. Will these kids talk to me ever again? Will I? Okay. So this one is reversed. The subject of your inquiry is barren and cannot give you anything right now. No matter how beautiful and seductive the shimmering glow of the mirage is, this is an illusion. When the dry desert card is reversed, it is a warning not to be hypnotized into thinking you'll achieve your desire. This well is empty. Consider the gift here, though. Know that while this is not the right place, person, or circumstance for you at the moment, it means that something much better, more fulfilling, and life-sustaining is coming. Celebrate the warning and be grateful. So, what I hear is, if you heal your issues, there is a chance that it still could unfold that you would see them. But if you do not heal this issue, then you're going to repeat. How you do anything is how you do everything, and you will be back to wandering and longing. But once you release this, you will have a resolution that will make you feel like a stronger person. That you won't be going, oh my God, I really want this. Because again, you brought it down to 0. You turned it to white. You resolved it. And whatever is going to unfold will always be for the better for you. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so again, make sure you listen to the archives, get all the gems, maybe watch the videos. It was a lot of information. And learn about the healing tools and just apply them. Again, if you can't do it on your own, I am a soul coach, and you just go and look for contact, and then we'll make an appointment. Everything's on there, and the cost as well. So, do your best to heal, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Like
I said, if you have any questions in the chat room or any of that stuff, then you let me know. Now, here's the thing that I would like to address. Has any of you ever watched the movie The Help? It is where it's in, I don't remember the year, but I think it's believed in Jackson, Mississippi, where all of the colored folk and the white folk, everybody's separated. So the colored folk have a destiny that this is what you have to do all the time. And the help was all of the people that worked in the kitchens and cleaned the houses and raised the kids. So the coloreds were basically there and they would have to do everything. And a very little wage, be disgraced, just abuse. But at the same time, they got to accumulate a lot of juicy stories of the people that they had to take care of or be with. And they put up with a lot. And this girl, white girl, that she wants to be a writer. She doesn't believe that you should have to be raised to find a man that's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. She wanted to have her dreams. She really enjoyed her, the woman that raised her. She really enjoyed talking to them. And so then she had the idea that, you know what, you have a story, let's get it out there. At first it was difficult at best for anybody that wanted to talk, but the one lady felt like God spoke to her that yes, she needs to have her voice. So it's a beautiful story, and what I ended up noticing, because I cried, was when you see humanitarian, somebody helping another person, that great joy that you get when you see the outreach and the pour of just love. Well, I will tell you one thing, is that I'm on my journey of discovering why would I stop love and joy from coming into my heart. So I don't know, except for it happened when I was 13, and again, it wasn't bad. It's something good. Why wouldn't I let it in? And that is my journey, because it affects my lungs. It affects my heart. My heart affects the way my lungs function. So just to let you know that that is something that I'm going to be doing a lot of jam sessions with. So we have another caller, so go ahead. Area code 773, you're on the air with Brenda and Scott. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yes, you're on the air. How can I help you?
Hi, is this Brenda?
Yes, this is Brenda.
Oh, how great to talk to you, Brenda. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm calling from Chicago. My name is Pilar.
Oh, wonderful.
And, hi. I'm very excited to talk to you. I just wanted to ask if you could do a little reading for me.
Yes, I can do that. Okay, again, it's those readings that what your soul wants you to know. Now, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All right.
My question.
Yes?
Yeah, so my question is like around my love life.
Around the love life.
And illness.
Okay. Now you're kind of fading out, but I heard you say something about the love life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on hold, but I'm going to still do your reading because of the sound of where you're at. So I will click it on, off and on when I want to ask you a question. Okay, so one of the things that immediately pick up is it keeps going to the kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is that feeling nature. It's not just about touch when you touch somebody. It's that feeling of kind of like the knowing, the feeling of that this is familiar. So she had the question about a relationship, her love life. And the main block, oh, they're showing me an actual block, a brick. So that tells me the thickness of the situation. And she's learned kinesthetically there's a lot of pain when it comes to love. Now this is interesting because, let me look at this. I don't know if she has what they call mastered, when you have an ability or you have the way that you communicate, you've mastered it. Like kinesthetic for me growing up was that I would push it away and I didn't understand. I didn't want to feel. I didn't understand that I was feeling everybody else's stuff. So I didn't quite master it until I started to become an adult. So now I got to find out, what does this mean about a relationship? And let's see. It puts her at not to be playful. She's not able to be playful. And stay optimistic about your love. Okay, so unable to stay optimistic about the love life. So just that sounds like something you would do as far as if you were hurt. So let me look at this again. As soon as I tapped into it, I have fear of being alone, but this isn't hers. This feels like one of her siblings and parents. So this looks like it's a genetic thing that falls along the path, that it's about you're supposed to be hurt. So now I'm just going to find out. All right, her love life. Well, it looks like she was taught that you have to be defensive, and what comes to mind is a specific thing about how you better stand up for your rights, don't anybody hurt you, allowing yourself to have all these rules that you're supposed to be a strong, independent woman. Now, I have you back on, and what do you think so far of what I'm saying?
You're picking up everything that my mother taught me. You gotta be a strong, independent woman. You can't let anybody hurt you. Don't let them see you be weak.
Okay. All right. Now, see, this is good, but it's not good when you put up the brick wall and says, I can't let love in because I have to watch for this, this, and this, and this. Now, I wish my partner Jennifer was here because she was also taught all those things. And she has been wanting love in her life, and we've been healing her heart. Because her heart... All right, we're going to put you back on hold for a minute. And then...
It's getting pretty loud.
All right, so again, the heart... Jen has... It doesn't mean that you have to give up those things. What I had Jen focus on was healing the, I have to do this, and I have to look for it and say, oh, see, he's going to do it. And it's the intensity that says that men are going to take advantage of you, that you're looking at her proof, because you could be collecting your own proof, but it's that proof, it's that feeling that causes you to say, screw you men, I don't want you in my space, even though there's a part of you that says, I was born to love. And this becomes a very difficult thing. So now I've got to ask the soul, because she understands that this part of her, now again, notice that when you heal the pain, you can still be the strong, independent person because you are going to have your authenticity. You're not going to lose your voice. You're already going to have some good values, but you don't have to have the pain that causes you to reject people. One thing I made sure that my daughter and my son have learned was that they didn't need my past experiences, so I could help so they don't have to go through that pain and suffering. But I know I've watched both my kids come up with a different answer than what I did. They don't even have to go through the same stuff that I did. And so I saved them the grief of having to carry my burden, my load, to the next life. No, I'm not blaming any parents. I'm not blaming any of that. It's just that I had woke up and realized, wow, these kids that are in here these days can think for themselves differently. So what I would tell you to do would be to simply notice that the main theme is that you don't let anybody disgrace you. That is a decision which causes you not to be playful, not to think to be optimistic about a relationship, because you have to constantly be on guard. So I would definitely say take and heal how you have to do these things. Now, here's an interesting part. A friend of mine that was so strong at that ended up getting in a relationship that was basically what she was told not to do. Well, they just said, oh, she's a rebel. No. She needed to experience love, and the only way to do that was to go into a relationship where those things that she believed in and the universe delivered it to her, then a man's controlling. Well, when she met this person, she wasn't controlling, he wasn't controlling, until she was able to soften up, and she thought, all right, I'm going to soften up, I'm going to let this man in my world, I'm going to have a good time. She's changing who she is, so she doesn't have to be that strong person every 2 seconds, because it gets tiring having to hold up all of that part of who you are. And he wanted the original woman that he dated. Well, you're not strong and feisty, you're not doing this, you're not fighting back. She's going, I'm tired, I don't want to do that. So, healing how you have to be a certain way just so you can survive. We're going to preserve all the positive learnings, and then you're going to do a healing. And that means you have to heal the dreaming. Someday I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be this, this, and this. Well, if you're going to be this, this, and this, remember, you have to watch out for these people that are going to scam you. They're going to take advantage of you. Oh, all these bad experiences that can happen and could happen, and watch out, it could happen to you. And all of this guard, because it doesn't allow you to dream. So I would definitely tell you that you need to hold R3D. And so go ahead and click on the mic, Scott. What do you think so far about the reading?
Excellent. Excellent. On point, on point. My mom was very, very hurt by my dad in many ways for a long time. And I think she was very clear and obvious that wasn't going to happen to us, her daughters. And I think I resonate with that, because this is exactly what I say. You know, anybody who shows interest in me, I'm like, no. I'm not going to be, you know, responding to you because you're a coworker. I'm not going to respond to you because you are, you know, not at my level. I always put up a reason why, an excuse.
Exactly, because you don't want that pain, but yet that's the very same thing you're doing to yourself. So if you can focus on healing. Now, do you know anything about our healing tools?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm not just a reader. I am a healer first, and I swore to Spirit that if I'm going to give all this information, there's got to be a way so that you can resolve those issues. And nothing that you have is bad. It's just the intensity where you have to hold it in a negative state, or you have to hold the fear, or you have to be so strong you're going to cause yourself to be weak. If you go to MWReveal.com, which is M as in medicine, W as in woman, reveal, REVEAL.com, on the left-hand side is called Healing Tools. One of them is Hope Therapy. Please watch the video. Look at how it's written, because your code to heal would be R is in right, 3 is in the number 3, and D represents deep. And so you're going to hold right and the third position, and you're going to push in deep. And then the rest of the instructions, where you put your finger on your palm and your hand on your forehead and your hairline, and you're going to get an intensity of how you know all that familiarity. Because that's the knowing that's causing you to not allow stuff new in. Okay?
Okay. Right. Great. Thank you. And I actually want to be able to schedule some time privately with you.
Good.
To help me with this, because I'm really ready to let it go and own what's mine.
That's wonderful. If you go to, again, that website, you will see a contact list, how much I charge, and then you can call and we can set up an appointment and go from there, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I promise.
All right, stay blessed, dear.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, and it's very, very important to understand that the caudate nucleus, that part of the brain that governs fear and joy, if you are having an issue, just like with what she was going through, she's strong, she's independent, she's doing exactly what she was raised to do, what she taught, what she believes in, the decisions she has, but it's the caudate that says, when the new information and ideas come in and it comes into the forebrain and opportunities maybe to go out on a date, it has to pass through the caudate nucleus. And if it goes to the caudate and it says, you have no, then you reject it. You come up with an excuse, you come up with a rational reasoning. You don't allow the new in because of old information that may be there to protect you, but it's based on fear. And people go, well, I'm not fearful. I want you to understand, the brain only thinks of fear and joy, or fear and love. And if it's negative, it's going to fall under fear. If it's love, it's going to fall under love. If it is about being depressed, it'll fall under fear. If it is anger, it falls under fear. Negative thinking, it falls under fear. So when I say fear, it usually means that it's a maybe, what do you call it? It's a general topic that covers everything. It's an umbrella.
It's a broad, yeah,
you know. So, just to help you understand that you need to be able to have closure. Your soul came in and have so many things it wants to tell you all the time. Just like I was telling you about the movie The Help last night before I went to bed. I was like, seriously? I'm watching my body. My body doesn't want to heal. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I have watched people, I give information, they heal, and I watch their lives transform. Mine too. But my physical attributes don't want to do so. People have come in with migraines all the time or ear issues, and then I immediately start to do what I do best and what I was taught to do, and the next thing you know, their pain disappears, and it's never been taken care of before. They're like, oh, cool. So usually that means I talk them through finding out what the information is, just like we do here. But I talk them through the healing aspect, which allows them to go into a space where they can actually reprogram that subconscious mind, and so that the body can repair itself and go into that innate healing. And I've seen a lot of wonderful healing tools that way. EFT, emotional freedom technique, the meridian tapping. They have a lot of physical pain, and they do the tapping. Watch the YouTubes, you can find them all over. Emotion code, or I should say the body code. And what, I mean, if I wouldn't have done it to myself, I would have never believed it to be true. And then I did it to a friend, and then I did it over the phone. And there are so many healing tools out there that are just marvelous. That they are all coming out of the woodwork. I mean, it was amazing how some of them have been around for 20, 25 years, and we're now just getting it spread over here. And it is taking in a place. Now, like I said, I have a lot of my healing tools, and what I've also learned is healing tools from others, and I think what I'm going to do, besides put up the videos, is to put up links so that if you wanted to explore more in the emotion code, you will then go to that website or learn about the one that had originated it. You will allow yourself, I love you too, honey, but you too will allow yourself to explore, and if that is the path. If not, you can buy the books, you can get the DVDs, you can, or whatever you want to do. I'm here to help you grow. Well, I've got that all figured out. Alrighty, let's see. What did Octrine say there? Was there anything to us?
Oh, yes. She says, reminds me when I crashed the garage party at age 4 and then spilled Coke all over the neighbor's lap. Oh. They promptly called Mom to tell her where I was.
Whoops.
Age 4, huh?
A good memory. Yeah,
Very
Scotty's
good.
Reminiscing all the things he did. I can see that.
Oh, no, I only... Let's see, what shenanigans. I took my plastic toy scissors and I cut the leaves off all my mother's houseplants.
Oh, my God. What else?
When I was 4 or 5 years old, they took me to church, and I got up and I ran right up to the pastor and ran back and forth down the middle of the aisle right there in the middle of the service.
Oh.
I used to do all kinds of things to make my mom happy.
To make my mom happy, yes. And there's nothing wrong with being that joy of love and space. And that's what, and Karen says, yeah, I've been a party girl in my life. But it is very interesting because I'll never forget the time when I says, okay, God, teach me about love. And we went into the restaurant, and I'm sitting there, and I've told this story before, but my husband and I are sitting there, and our 2 kids that are very young, one was sitting on each side of us, and this is kind of makes Scotty feel like a bad person, but he's not, because I had to see what an average person does with what we do with love for kids.
Oh, boy.
The kids are being loved, they weren't being very loud, and we usually don't give those little toy, when you go to the drive-through food places, they give toys. Well, I decided, okay, I'm going to open it up, no big deal, they keep them busy, and they weren't really loud. They were just happening across the table, they're laughing and they're giggling, they're rocking back and forth, they're funny, they're trying to be quietly funny. And my husband was like, quiet down, you're embarrassing me. Everybody's looking at us. And I look around and I'm thinking, nobody's looking, and you're the one that's making the big thing. And it's amazing how we bring up our cast with us. Now, this is not to shame Scotty, but all his life growing up, he had a family member that would sit around and say those exact same things to him. And then he took that, and then you have to really be careful because people are watching, or this and that. And well, we can break those. We can heal those specific issues. And what's happening? Hello, I was just working on sound. Okay. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at going back to that issue. Why couldn't I let love in? Now, you have to remember, we all, at one time or another, are feeling people's emotions, belief systems, We know what restaurant we are in, what the feel of the restaurant, the people in the restaurant. When we go to places and stores, I have to say, which was really strange, I had gone into a Twilight Zone Walmart, and I thought, what? And I didn't fit. I literally felt me be out of sync. And I'm looking around, I'm like, what makes this store out of any other store different? It was the type of customers they brought in. And there is just a different vibe for every character of life. And when you do not, I don't know, you're not really that type of person, you really don't do those things, you don't believe the same way, and it's the believing factor that affects you the most. And I literally was looking around, and some of these people, you know, they could be educated, but they would never show it. Some people would be walking around, and the mannerisms, you would never know it. And because the people were dressed as in drab colors, there was no life in any of these colors. They were all stretched pants and anger, and I was like, holy crap. And I realized is that I didn't feel no life. I didn't feel the spark except for anger. And there was a person that was standing in the middle, you know, and you're supposed to have manners where you say excuse me to walk through, and those aisles in Walmart are very long. And I couldn't get over how somebody was just so angry and was gabbing in the middle. You know, you tell this story and you feel bad for saying it, but you didn't do anything wrong. And the story is that he goes in the aisle, and there are two women talking, and they were heavy set and everything. The one woman, you know, you felt like you probably could approach and said, excuse me. But the other one,
jeez.
Yeah, he'll let him explain it.
Oh, yes. I was in the grocery store, and these women were just blocking the aisle. And I didn't want to walk all the way around the other end of the store. I mean, I was in a hurry through lunch and that. And I just said, excuse me.
In a nice, but in a way that I know how he would ask.
And the older woman, who was probably in her 50s, and she seemed to be all right, but she stepped back, and the young one was just
mad because
she had a foul mouth on her, and I get like 5 steps from her, and she just calls me a dick. And I pretended I didn't hear her. I figured that it would affect her the best, because I could have turned around and said many things. I mean, when I first got to the store, how she was chastising the older lady. She was just chewing her out. Then she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were so and so who was dating my stepdad," or something like that. She's going on.
I wouldn't have been mean to you then.
Then the older woman says, "Oh, that's okay. I can understand how you're all angry." I don't know what the young woman was angry about, but gee whiz, she looked like she just I wouldn't have 2 nickels to rub together, and it just was. It was just mean, just full of anger. She's like in her 20s and just, I don't know.
Now you have to remember, my husband's very sweet. He's quiet. He goes into
the story,
keeps
shocked.
himself.
I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I don't care.
Usually he's always telling me, don't say excuse me. Let's turn around and take the long way around. And you know, but this time my husband.
But these are it grinds me when these clueless people will stand in the middle and they'll block the way and just be gabbing to each other. It's like, come on, some paying customers want to get through here, you know?
Yes, this woman has displaced anger. I would definitely say that this person reminds you of road rage, and
she was just
I'm glad that he didn't join
I can't
into
believe
that.
And she had almost tore into this older woman when I first I went down the baking aisle, and I can't remember to get some flour or something. As I walked in there to begin with, they were kind of half blocking the aisle so I could squeeze by them, and the young lady, I heard her finally starting to apologize to the older woman for almost wanting to fight her, she said.
Well, when,
it's like, jeez, oh Pete, I don't know what's wrong with you.
When people start to tank, that means usually they have something that's on their mind that they never got to resolve at the time. I mean, have you ever been in an argument where all of a sudden you wish that you would have said what you could have, but you didn't at the time, and then later on you're sitting there rehearsing it, and so then you come up with these clever things to say, or a lot of times you'll sit there and because you can't say anything to the person that's chastising you, then you go to the next person that is open and you just start tanking them, and you see how it's their fault and everything else, and the person receiving is going, what the heck just happened?
And this woman, she looked like she wanted to blame everybody else for all the trouble she has in her life. There was nothing, she gave us this aura of just being down in the dumps and blaming everybody else. The world's done this to me, and I'm gonna get back at every one of you.
Yeah, and
I mean, she just that was something.
See, somebody in the chat room says, I used to get upset when I didn't know how to protect myself from the energy. Now I wonder what's happened in her life. And, that's actually good.
Exactly. That's what that's why I didn't say anything, because I figured they probably got bad enough things going on. I didn't want to compound anything, especially she looked like she'd be nuts enough to chase me out to the parking lot or something.
Yeah.
And I had to get back to work, so I know.
But what's nice is that you didn't make her the center of your world.
No, I just pretended I didn't even hear her. That way.
It did shock you, though.
Yeah, I thought, did she just call me a dick? And I thought, okay, that's fine. I should have turned around and said, my name's Richard, thank you. But anyway.
Yeah, but we never know what the reasoning why. It could be that we should feel bad about them, that we should, but again, when people sit there and just start throwing around their anger.
I mean, I go on my way to be nice. If somebody, like I say, please excuse me. I always say excuse me when I step around somebody, over even near getting into their space when I go around them in the store or something. Mm-hmm. And 99%, this is the first one. Everybody else I've ever encountered always would say the same thing back to me. Oh, excuse me too,
That's
just
why
be
I
nice
said
to me.
it was
and
weird
it's like,
walking in, and everybody's energy was like almost the same, and I was out of sync with it, and I thought, whoa, it really started putting me in a space of needing to protect myself.
Instead of being anger, I kind of felt sorry for her, because it just seemed like she had something bad going on in her life, and she wanted to take it out on anybody around her.
Probably so.
But anyway, yeah. Yeah, should have said, how do you know my name?
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, man.
But this does happen. And when this does happen, you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're projecting to having to create this moment? Like I was telling you when I was in the restaurant, when I was watching all that was happening because I asked the question, what is love? And the universe was answering. And that day when I was in Walmart and I'm looking all around, it's like, well, what was I projecting that would cause me to be out of sync and to them to be in that space? And it was earlier that day that I couldn't figure something out. And literally, I couldn't figure it out. I said that to myself. And as I'm shopping, Spirit wanted me to really say, here is a fresh experience that says, this is why you can't figure it out. Because everything looks like it's rhyme and reason. It looks like it should all be going according to the way it's supposed to, but I was out of sync. I didn't fit in. The energy was off. And sometimes when we don't even realize it's kinesthetic, it's just the feeling that makes us not understand. It doesn't even have to make rhyme or reason, because the energy is that's in place. Does this make sense, Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We can get wrapped up as a human, or we can look and listen to what our soul is really projecting about what's going on. Now, talk about him standing in the aisle to getting baking goods. He just made a batch of cookies. What kind of cookies were they, Scott?
Oh, chocolate chip, and I ground up some oatmeal. Take some oatmeal and put it in the blender and turn it into powder. It tastes real good with the flour and the cookies. So just chocolate chip, and of course my daughter doesn't like chocolate chips in hers, so I'd make the first pan without chocolate chips.
And I think that's resentment, because I'm the same way. I really don't care if there's chocolate chips in them.
And then I made the second pan full with just chocolate chips, and then I added some walnuts, because I like baked walnuts.
But you also added cocoa, too.
Yeah, I put cocoa in it, but I like
chocolate
walnuts, and I haven't gone out to check the hickory nut tree. I love hickory nuts in cookies, too.
Oh,
but I haven't gone out this year. They're probably there should be some out there, but I like hickory nuts too.
What's funny is walking outside and the hickory nuts start to fall and you don't know it, and they're in tall grass, it'll feel like you're walking on marbles, and literally it looks like a cartoon where your butt goes, your feet go up, your butt goes down, you're like, whoa.
Especially the black walnuts get that black ink on you too. I mean, that stuff don't come off.
Black ink?
Well, it's like an ink.
So it's a dye,
it's a
natural
dye.
dye.
It's a natural dye. Oh my gosh, you got to make sure you wear gloves and you pick them things up, because that black stuff. Coconut nuts, yes.
Oh my husband, he's a coconut
Yes, I like coconuts,
person.
walnuts, hickory nuts, all the almonds, anything.
So yeah, he has to bake, and usually bakes for all of us in individual piles. That's always good.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of dyes, I was thinking about dyeing my tips of my hair and maybe just, because I part my hair on the side, I was thinking of taking and making a strap or two. I can't even think of the word I want. You know, a great big handful right at the part and dye that, and then flip my hair the other way. And so if I wanted to be professional, it would just look like brown with purple tips. And then if I wanted to really be what I want to be, then I can have purple on top and bottom. So somebody gave me this dark, dark, deep purple, and I haven't decided to do it yet because it's just like with me and tattoos. Once it's there, you know, like I had my son accidentally poked me with a pencil, brand new sharp pencil. It's left a mark. Every time, now and then, I want to start digging it off. I don't really know if I can have something permanently on my body. I have enough scars I can't get rid of. And I thought about taking the scars and tattooing it, but then I don't. I even had Hannah tattoos, you know, the stuff that don't.
She says, do the purple, it's lovely.
Oh.
Oh yeah, match your shirt.
Yeah, henna, that's it. You know, henna. And anyway, I was thinking about doing that, and I thought, oh yes, fairies and stuff. I couldn't even do that. And the style I wanted was, I think it was India, where they have all those beautiful scarves and colors and the Bali and, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have no
idea.
idea.
I'd experiment too, but I can't.
Ooh, he has hair, just not on top. We could put purple back here in patches.
My friends used to tell me I should get a tattoo hair in my head. Just get a tattoo in my head of hair. I don't know how that would work though.
Well, you'd always look forever young, right? As you get old, you look like you got a wig on.
Yeah. They used to tease me about losing my hair, and I said, well, that's because I'm farther away from the monkeys on the, you know, and the evolutionary path than they are.
Yeah, he didn't get the memo that the hair is supposed to be on top of the head too, not just all over his body.
Yeah.
I like how was it Chrissy? It says you can change it like your panties, and I always tease people, or I don't tease people. I always say to people, you know, people say, "Oh, I hate change." I said, "So do you change your underwear?" Well, yes, I do. I says, "Was that painful?" No. I said, "So change doesn't have to be painful. It can be very easy and often." So, oh, purple's popular right now.
Oh.